Hey YouTube, welcome back to Love for Crypto. So there's absolutely a shitload of stuff to talk about. I do plan on making a screen recorded video so I can actually show you the information whilst talking about it. But I just can't contain this information much longer. Basically, I need to give you an overview. Now obviously, if you followed on and you've followed or subscribed to this channel due to the documentary, you know all about the narrative of this channel. It's ushering in the one world currency, and over the past, I think it's probably been 6 days maybe since I last did my video. I'm trying not to spam everyone out with shit stuff, but fuck me, have we got stuff to talk about. Right, so first of all, before we go into all the doom and gloom of stuff, there's been a lot of talk about Swift, potential partner with Ripple. A lot of people saying it's impossible, it's not going to happen, the two will just not cooperate together to build the internet of value. My own personal opinion, that is bullshit. I strongly, in fact I can almost certainly guarantee that Swift and Ripple are working together. And as all the debates and the discussions was going on Twitter, we actually heard from a board director from Swift himself. And again, I can't remember his exact words. I do need to create a video of what I'm talking about. That is basically got all information, videos and stuff, that we can go over all together. In fact, I might even do a live stream version of it, get all the information up, present the information, and then we can have a back and forwards conversation. We'll get me and Scott both on the live stream, so we've got two of us that could both answer people's questions, because I'm sure as hell that people have got questions at this point. So as I was saying, the Swift, this is a person who is who's on the board of directors of Swift. It doesn't really get much higher or credible than that when a person of that status is saying that all we're hearing about the revolution of the technology is disruptions. But I don't think that will happen. I think in the future we will see a mass majority of collaborations. Now, of course, that doesn't necessarily say that they partnered with Ripple. Specifically talking about fintechs when we're talking about this, bear in mind. And as far as I can remember, there's only one fintech that's got revolutionary liquidity as an asset. Do you know what I mean? They've combined technology to create the evolution of liquidity. It's Ripple, it's XRP. And without the XRP, without Interledger Protocol, none of these payment services can connect with each other. They can't create the internet of value. Listen, I'm not going into this in depth detail yet, but I promise I will follow up on this. But again, as far as I am concerned, it is a guaranteed NDA, 100% partnership. I may be wrong. This is my opinion. I may be wrong, but I know my gut feeling is telling me this. We've heard from one of the board directors from Swift, who's saying that we should look towards collaborating with fintechs in the future. We're all talking about ushering in the internet of value. Globalization is the key, is the echo, is the call throughout the fucking world at the moment. Globalization. It's a movement. That's exactly what it is. It's the missing key to globalization, and it's the internet of value. And the internet of value, in my honest, sincere opinion, is only possible down to the Interledger Protocol, which all top tech companies, banking institutions, payment processors, they're all integrating Interledger Protocol. And what is the bridge to all of Interledger Protocol? Yeah, of course it's XRP. It's the one world fucking currency. Anyway, that's my little talk on Swift. I think DM Logic, by the way, absolutely excellent, neutral discussion on this. I am being biased. I am 100% being biased. I'm not going to deny that. I'm not sitting in the conservative camp in this game no more. I'm not trying to say I'm part of the 589 club, but I know for a fact 589 is more than possible. More than possible. It's just a time frame that we're all discussing and debating and conflicting over. But as I've said, I support the idea in one situation, an economic collapse. The US dollar petrol status being evaporated. And, you know, what have we got going on in the world right now? Before we go on to that, so another piece of information. Christine Lagarde, funnily enough, on the 10th of the 10th, 2019, and if you know The Economist 1988 edition, The Rise of the Phoenix, you'll know exactly why relevant this date is that I've just spoken about. Now, before the opening bell rang, sorry if you heard that sniffle, before the opening bell rang, Christine Lagarde had a very chilling message that she tweeted out. A very chilling message. Again, I can't remember what it says off the top of my head. I will make a video on it. But the same day that she, you know, comes out, we're talking about how digital assets can be disruptive to the monetary system. You know, it was only 5 fucking months ago that Mark Carney from the Bank of England was saying it posed no threat to the, you know, to the monetary system. Now we've got Christine Lagarde, you know, basically saying it's a threat to the monetary system. Listen, of course it is a threat to the monetary system. It's not that it's a threat. It's designed to act as an economic technology. It's basically gonna be an economy that can, is economize a word? I don't know. But it's gonna be a self-sustainable economy build, a self-sustainable economic infrastructure. You know, the new DLT, the new intellectual protocol. But it's amazing. What we have been covering on this is one world currency. It's, you know, XRP is destined to be the global unit of account, and it is so fucking laughable. And my friends, even yesterday, laughing at me in the face about it. And honestly, I do not blame him. I do not blame him. But believe me, I will fucking laugh harder when it does happen. Now, it sounds unbelievable to the trained eye. You know, when you've got this random cunt from Manchester screaming out, oh, XRP is going to be the one world currency, you know, it might not feel like there's no meaning to it or no, you know, evidential support that can back up the claims. But as I've always said, and I will continue to say so until proven otherwise, is as every day, week and month passes by, we get more and more information that in fact supports the theory. Doesn't ridicule the theory, supports the theory. Now, Swift is being one of them. What I've just spoke about, the director of the, you know, this is a person is in a high position at Swift, himself purposely stating that rather than seeing disruptions, we will see a great surge of calibrations with each other. A collaboration, so to say. Now, listen, that's from Swift himself. Joe fucking hell. Joe Katz's wet dream is to work with Swift. Listen, this is done and fucking dusted, ladies and gentlemen. Believe me, you now, it's done and dusted. Have you seen the amount of value that is being moved around on the XRPL monitor, the charts, you know, where it tracks the, you know, the transactions basically from you know, the ledger, and they're fucking huge. And of course they're going to be huge where the price is what it is. It's a distribution of the, you know, if you want to call it reserves being distributed about, you know, to the exchange. Listen, this is deeper and darker than what most people will ever grasp. That I can assure you. But you've got Christine Lagarde from the IMF warning about, you know, a global financial crisis, meltdown, whatever you want to call it. And on top of that, you've got Mark Carney as well. You know, this is the man who understands the financial plumbing. So it's been quoted to say, again, all this is on the Twitter. All this is on our Twitter, Love for Crypto. If you're watching this on YouTube, it's exactly the same icon on Twitter. It is all fucking there, believe me. So, I mean, like you say, that Swift thing on its own is massive. You know, you've got a director from Swift. Yeah, he's saying exploring fintech options. Listen, it's only Ripple that have got a revolutionary fucking digital asset that is liquid enough throughout the world right now as we speak. Everything else is a fucking dream on a piece of paper. It really is. It's, you know, that is the reality of it there. So you can talk about fintechs and all this great technology they've got, or you can talk about the one that the world is fucking coming in its pants over. It is Ripple and it is XRP. Make no mistake about when they mention fintech, it is pretty much as close as you're going to get to actually fucking breaking the NDA. Is the echoes that you're hearing at the moment. You've got Mark Carney now that is calling it an absolute scandal that cross-border payments are 10 times dearer and expensive than a domestic payment. What do we need to do? Let's turn to fintech technology to help improve the system. Do you hear the globalization call? Yeah, of course you do. Because if you don't, well, you know, what the stuff I'm telling you now is not me just making this up off my head. We're talking about financial elite figures coming out, ushering in globalization. This is the reality of what is happening at the moment. And, you know, just to top it off, you know, we have people talking about the SDR basket and, you know, XRP merging. Listen, as far as I'm aware, you know, stuff is going to be built on top of XRP. You know, the IMF may potentially come out with this SDR basket that's built on top of XRPL. And, you know, listen, it might be branded as something different, but it will settle with XRP. Make mistake, the base core, the heart of the system is XRPL. That's why we call it the one world currency moving forwards. It will be the global unit of account of trade. So, you know, crazy Kurt in his van once again. Oh, you know, oh, look at him again with that fucking digital asset. What? The US dollar's never going to be removed as the world reserve, they say. That's what they fucking... Listen, another interesting revelation that's happened again recently. The Fed, the St. Louis Fed, have come out talking about the Triffin's dilemma. You know, the good old Triffin dilemma. Basically, the US dollar acting as the world reserve. And all the implications that it creates. You know, and when I say this, you know, we've got the trade deficit exploding on the US side. We've got emergency markets, and the currency's absolutely being devalued on the other side. It's unsustainable, the path we have led ourselves down for the past 10 years. You know, since the 2008 financial crisis, it should have come down to fair value then, but it reinflated the bubble back up. And we are on that borderline now, you know, it is fracturing. But the St. Louis Fed come out on Twitter and they said, if a private digital currency was to take on the role as a world reserve, then the dilemma for the USD would be resolved. Now, just listen to what I have just said there very carefully. A private cryptocurrency. Now, when you say private, you're probably thinking, oh, private. Yeah, listen, private meaning non-government issued. Non-biased to any nation. That's what it means when you say that. And what digital asset is liquid throughout the world now that's got over 31 fiat, you know, fiat trading pairs against it? It's XRPL. It's XRP. And it's the ledger that is going to make everything possible in the future. So, you know, obviously we've got the guy from Swift saying this. Now we've got Mark Carter. Bear in mind that Ripple was doing proof of concept with the Bank of England in 2015. Just as they were doing with the Federal Reserve in 2015. And now, all of a sudden, Mark Carney's calling on to fintech technologies to help improve cross-border payment experience. Now, God knows who he's talking about. You know, fucking... God knows who he's talking about. Probably talking about Stellar, innit? You know, Stellar Lumens, they're all over the fucking world at the moment. You know, they've got revolutionary technology. Listen, it's fucking Ripple and XRP. It's 100%. This isn't me trying to, you know, make my theory or my hypothesis, you know, more secure, or I'm not trying to make myself feel better because of my investment. As far as I'm aware, my investment could go down to fucking zero. I do not give a shit. I've happily lost my money in my mind. So I'm not trying to reinforce, you know, my philosophy on everything that's happened. I'm not. I'm just talking facts. As always, facts. And a little interesting subject on that, we've got the Faster Payments Task Force on the Federal Reserve. Now, what are they all trying to initiate by 2020? They're all trying to adopt the real-time gross settlement system so they can interact, in fact, with distributed ledger technology. Now, who are they going to want to interact with? Who is the digital asset that is providing all this great transactional fucking settlements in seconds throughout the world, that is ready, that has done over 41 million ledgers closed, that is working, that is truly decentralised, that is biased to no entity, that is pressured by no government? Right, so hopefully that speech there, you know, look no fucking further when we say this. The Federal Reserve are looking at implementing distributed ledger technology into their real-time gross settlement systems by 2020. That is the aim. That is why Ripple are sat on the advisory board. That is why Ripple are sat on the high-level fintech advisory board for the IMF. That is why the Bank of England are also upgrading their real-time gross settlement systems to interact with distributed ledger technology systems. It is the API plugin that the world is developing as we speak that can plug into XRP for settlement. That is what is going on. Now, yeah, you're not going to hear it as blatantly as I've just told you. And I'm quite frank, I'm sick to death of the arguments around Swift. Oh, it won't be done. Oh, it's just going to... Listen, let's just think about this logically, shall we? Swift have 11,000 banking companies. Oh, a consortium of 11,000 banks. Right now, all connected. All under AML. All under KYC. Now you've got this revolutionary digital asset, XRP, a revolutionary standpoint for liquidity that can potentially transform the landscape of this economic infrastructure. And when I say that, I don't mean just a 3-second transaction. I'm talking about the US dollar being removed as the world standard, as the world global unit of account, and being replaced by an unbiased form that is literally biased to no nation. That won't hinder the US economy anymore. That won't destroy the emerging market currency contagion. That is currently out of fucking control. That's the reality, yet again. Now listen, they're not just trying to build these systems for cost savings and for remittances so your family can send over $50 for fucking half a cent. It's not to do with that. This is the biggest fucking smokescreen in fucking history. It really... Listen, if we just talk about remittance, why the fuck are they in bed with the central banks? Why are they in bed with the IMF if it's just about remittance? If it was just about remittance, they would have just been stuck in MoneyGram's office back in January, wouldn't they? That would have been just remittance. Why do they need to sit on the high-level advisory board for the IMF? Why are they sat on the faster payments task force for the Federal Reserve? Why have they been carrying out proof of concepts with the Bank of England since 2015? Yeah, it's a new technology. Yeah, they need advice. Yeah, they need guidance. And that's what they're getting with Chris Larsen and Ryan Zigone and Brett Garlinghouse. It's a revolution. David Schwartz, an NSA fucking mastermind, has created the perfect technology for economy to be based upon. That's the reality of the situation. David Schwartz has been working on this since 1988, when he first put his patent and filed the patent for a distributed ledger technology, configuration, pre-existing, not pre-existing the internet, but before it was mainstream. I know the first emails got sent in the 60s or the 70s, didn't really go viral till 1994. That's because the military and the Secret Service are always 2 decades ahead of the game, at the minimum. At the bare fucking minimum, that is, as well. Now, I know I'm going on a bit of a rant here, and I appreciate that. But can you understand what I'm telling you here? You've got a Swift director who's coming out saying, oh, in collaboration with fintechs, it might be, listen, the internet of value is being created right now. Make no fucking mistake about that. Whether they want the public to know about it or not right now, that is fine. That is completely fine. That's why XRP is completely radio fucking silent. You won't see this all over the news at the moment. Not with what's happening in the financial markets. Oh, fucking no, you won't. You will definitely not see this. But again, as I stated, the St. Louis Federal Reserve come out talking about the Triffids dilemma, talking about the issues that the United States dollar has got acting as a world reserve, and themselves, the Federal Reserve, spoke about how a private digital currency could remove the dilemma from the US dollar. When all this shit collapses, believe me, XRPL is going to come out smelling like fucking roses, purposely, by design. It's going to look like the gift from the gods that actually stopped the collapse of 2018 or 2019, whenever it does happen. It's a global trade, Forex. Well, when you've got currencies melting down the way they do, listen, they don't allow that shit to continue to trade. They will freeze the markets like they did in 2008. Apart from this time, it's going to be a global freeze. It's going to be ICE 9 implemented. Again, if you've watched the documentary, you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. So you got Swift, you got the IMF, you got Mark Carney now calling out on fintechs to provide this legendary technology, to... Listen, we're talking about financial inclusion here as well. And if you don't understand what I mean by that, there's over 1.8 billion adults locked out of the fucking financial system because it's a 1972 economic design, pre-existing, the internet wasn't existing at that point. We've got a new technology now. We've got a potential new one world currency. And listen, it's not just me saying this anymore, not Crazy Kurt in his van with his fucking windscreen that's full of flies. It's not Kurt just saying this no more. It's the Federal Reserve backing up his theory. The St. Louis Fed. If a private digital currency could act as a world reserve, it would remove the dilemma of the US dollar. Can anybody tell me what is up with the US dollar at the moment? Can anybody tell me what is wrong with the US markets at the moment? Can anybody tell me the size of the debt system that has been created and now it is about to fucking explode in our faces? Can anybody tell me about that, please? I mean, has anybody got a doomsday device fucking scenario pre-planned out? Because I'm telling you, when this shit falls, it is going to fall harder, thicker and faster than 2008. 2008 will look like a grain of fucking sand. That, I can assure you. I can assure you that is the truth. So what have all the world central banks just been sitting around the world, fingers up their arse, well, we'll just keep printing money? No. Listen. All the central banks, all the world leaders, they're all together in this. This is the biggest fucking crime scene. Well, I'm not going to call it a crime scene, but listen. What we're seeing is quite astonishingly unbelievable. As has been documenting from the start. The rise and the revolution of digital assets and the fall and the collapse of the fiat debt system. And this is what we're seeing. And it's ironic on the 10th of the 10th, 2018. You know, first of all, Christine Larange comes out and pre-warns us before things to take note of before the opening bell. And what happened by the closing bell? The Dow Jones Industrial smashed down, the third largest loss in history, bear in mind, in fucking history. So, yeah, great day in the US stock markets. And that's just not US based. You know, if America are just tasting this for the first time, listen, this has been happening for a long time now. You've just been blinded by it, by your mainstream media agenda. It's the truth. It's the harsh reality. It's the harsh truth. Your unemployment records are fake. Everything that you're hearing, the trade wars, all this, by design. This is an excuse. Listen, Brexit will also be another contributing factor to this. The trade wars, the Brexit, listen, they're going to throw as much shit as they can to point the blame on exactly what has happened when we know what happened. The world central banks lowered interest rates to zero and they've been giving out easy money for too fucking long. But listen, they had to do it. They had to sustain the economy. They had to reinflate the bubble. They had to keep it alive until they could figure out what the fuck they was going to do. But we all know what they're going to do, don't we? We all know. We all know what the doomsday scenario is going to be. You know, when they sat there in the G20 meetings, United Nations, and they're going to talk about, well, the US dollar, we can't peg anything against that no more, or global trade, oil, you know, you name it. It's going to be fucking meltdown because, you know, we talk about this trade war. And we talk about, yeah, the markets took a loss yesterday. Yeah, and it was quite substantial. You know, the NASDAQ was down 4%. If you watch the documentary, you know how all this starts. And I've said this here in the past. Apple, the first $1 trillion company. Amazon just passed $1 trillion. Now look at it. Now look at the markets. Listen. Now look at your markets. I'm not trying to say we're going to be in full meltdown status. I'm not trying to say that at all. I'm not trying to say that. I in fact think that the stock markets have got to bounce back today. They've got to buy back some of them fucking losses from yesterday. They've got to. I mean, I'm not saying it. I mean, listen, we could see 3,000 point fucking move today. Who fucking knows? I'm just not calling a crash just because of last night. But what I'm saying to you is the tipping point has been made. We are now past the tipping point, and the world is waking up to the games that have been played by the Federal Reserve, by President Trump. It's going to be very, very interesting to say the fucking least. And something else. I mean, this is what I mean about the information. The IMF, you know, the special drawing rights, the convert table got updated yesterday. Can somebody tell me what? In fact, I'll save that because that's quite a telling point. I'll save that for the actual video. But in regards to, you know, world trade, all this trade wars, you know, we've got Brexit, you've got emerging markets, a currency crisis, we've got a fucking hyperinflated stock market on the US side, and I can assure you one thing. Listen, China is the biggest holder of US debt, and they have weaponized the US debt. They've weaponized it. Listen, if China is to dump all US Treasury bonds of their holdings right now as we speak, America, the US dollar would literally evaporate. And I'm talking truth here, evaporate. If they market executed that, I tell you what, this video is getting on. I'm rambling a bit here. I really am. I do apologise for it. But, you know, a little quick, you know, recap. Swift, Like, basically going to integrate with fucking XRP. I can pretty much guarantee it. And anyone who wants to call me out saying, well, you can't guarantee it, you can't confirm it, I guarantee it. I guarantee it. You've got the Bank of England now calling on fintechs to provide this revolutionary technology that can reduce the friction in cross-border payments. Yeah, sure, Mark. Sure, that's the agenda. Yeah, remittance. Yeah, cross-border payments. Listen, do you know why this market, this entire crypto market, has been suppressed all year? Do you know why the gold market has been suppressed all year? And the silver market has been suppressed all year? Oh, and just another thing as well. How ironic is it that on the day that the Dow Jones, excuse me, and the Nasdaq and the US markets take a fucking beating, what happens after it when I wake up in the morning? Oh, cryptocurrency is down 15%. Of course cryptocurrency is down 15%. Christine Larange has just been out warning that digital assets are going to pose a threat to the monetary system. Of course digital assets are fucking down. Of course they are. As if the IMF and the World Central Banks are going to allow Bitcoin and digital currencies to just rip off now as we speak. Jesus Christ, ladies and gentlemen, get your head in the game, will you? This is all by design. And I know it's a bold statement what I've been making. Listen, I consume that red pill. I've consumed the red pill. There's no going back for me now. But listen, if I could just find any evidence that could prove my hypothesis wrong, that could just turn and switch off my brain from the information that I have been gaining, to say, Kurt, look, listen, I can understand where you're coming from, but look, it's crazy talk. But it's not crazy talk, is it, when they say Louis Feather coming out themselves and saying that digital assets can remove the Triffin's dilemma away from the United States dollar, which, may I add, is about to fucking melt to the ground. You know, it's not so crazy anymore. It's not so crazy when Christine Larange, the managing director from the IMF, is now coming out saying cryptocurrencies pose a threat to the monetary system. And it's not so crazy when Mark Carney from the Bank of England, one of the most prestige central banks in existence, comes out to call upon fintech and their revolutionary technology to help pay cross-border payments. Listen, ladies and fucking gentlemen, we are on the brink of a one world global unit of account. Call it a one world currency, call it a reserve currency. Listen, the monetary system as we once knew since 1944 is about to undergo a radical renovation. And it leaves and ends with the United States dollar acting as its own independent fiat currency, not as the world reserve. Now, whether the IMF's SDR basket may become, you know, the global unit of account, one thing I will promise you, it will be layered over the XRPL, because the XRPL is going to be the elite's greatest accomplishment to track and survey the population. Now, yeah, do you want to fucking profit from that as an investor? Yeah, of course you do. Who gives a shit? It's going to happen anyway. Yeah, it's a globalist movement, and that's all we are hearing. Chris Larsen, Mark Carney, IMF, Federal Reserve, globalisation, internet of value, globalisation. This is the reality of what is happening in the world. And again, like I say, I wish I could just go to sleep and just forget about all the information that I've learned. I quite frankly wish it, because it's consuming my mind. Consuming my mind. But listen, we all know what's going to happen with the stock markets. And I've said publicly and openly multiple times, Q4 2019 is the date of implosion. Round that point there, what we see now, this facade, this illusion, this cushion of debt propping everything up, is unsustainable by that point. And the reason being is we have one more rate increase this year from the Federal Reserve and another 3 next year from the Federal Reserve. But they've also said that they could possibly be more. Now listen, we've had a 25 basis point fucking move about 2-3 weeks ago, and look at the fucking conditions in the markets. 0.25%, and look at the conditions of the markets. They've been saying with rising rates in the perfect, you know, scenario, a good economy, strong economy, the stock market continue to grow with rising rates. Rates rise, oh fucking hell, look at the stock market. It's like it's been fucking shot in the kneecap and can't fucking walk anymore until the reserve come back in and prop it back up again. Honest to God, It's a great story that is going on in life. And you know, listen, your cryptocurrencies was down yesterday. Of course they was fucking down. Of course, this is in direct correlation with the monetary system now, the financial sector. Of course they are suppressing Bitcoin. Of course they're suppressing all the other digital assets. Listen, the US dollar, the US markets, the world fucking markets, the emerging market, listen, everything's being suppressed in regards to commodities, gold, silver, cryptocurrencies. They're being suppressed for a reason. They don't want to become attractive to people whilst this shit is going down. Now, I believe in 2019, when we do have the institutional gateways, the custodian services, I do believe we're going to start seeing the paradigm shift in 2019. I strongly believe that we will start seeing true flow capital. You know, when we start seeing hits from the NASDAQ and stuff, we may start seeing positive gains in the crypto. And when you start seeing that correlation, that is the green light for the change. That is suppression lifted, enter your fucking positions. And just ask yourself, you know, 4 or 5 major banking corporations this year as they've been caught playing with the paper derivatives markets, manipulating the price of gold, manipulating the price of silver. Listen, the cryptocurrency market this year has been suppressed in more ways than people will ever imagine. Parading out Bill Gates, parading out fucking oh, they're just parading them all out. Oh, it's a scam. Rat poison squared, Warren Buffett. Listen, this is all by design. This is an elite globalist movement, and you're seeing it in plain eyesight. But you know, for you as a person, if you've watched the evidence, if you've watched my stuff, if you follow us on Twitter, and you know you've give us the time as the channel to go over the evidence and present it to yourself, then you know what I'm talking about right now. And fuck me to see it actually start playing out, to start calling the dominoes that you have been calling for 5 fucking months to start rolling out. Very interesting indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, I am not part of the conservative XRP camp. I am fucking the only one person on YouTube that has strongly stood up with pride and dignity, calling as XRP for the one world currency. I don't hear no other fucker out there echoing that call, because it's only Crazy Kurt who is crazy enough to try and state some things. But just look what we have. The St. Louis Fed backing up my claim. The IMF backing up my claim. Mark Carney backing up my claim. I'm not crazy. I've just absorbed in information that makes it blatantly obvious what is going on. Everything is by design. What you're seeing in the financial market is nothing more than a scripted Hollywood film, and Donald Trump as a mere puppet running around with his death threats and his trade threats, and then China contributing to the stage light. We'll dump US bonds. Listen, all this is designed to undermine the US dollar as a reserve status of the world. Nothing more, nothing less. I can assure you, this is the globalist movement. Now, obviously, it's great that I do these videos, more for myself than for you, without sounding awful, because, you know, it's going to come to a point in the next 2 years to 5 years. I don't care how fucking long it takes, but I can assure you, I will be sat here on this screen whilst XRP is the world reserve currency, the global unit of account, and we'll see who the fucking crazy person is then, won't we? We really will see, because I know how ludicrous this sounds. It sounds fucking fucked up, crazy shit. Yeah, I know that. And yeah, sorry YouTube for swearing, but guess what? It's who I am, so fuck you as well. Keep an eye on those US markets today, people, and especially keep an eye on the US bond market, because I believe the Fed are going to be putting in every last bit and ounce of sweat, blood and tears into fucking propping this baby up. Now listen, China have the power to destroy the Fed's ability to do so. Just remember that China can dump US Treasury bonds, and when it does happen, ladies and gentlemen, it will fucking snow in blood. That I can promise you. I can promise you. All this that I've been talking about is all coming to fruition. Not by mistake or by coincidence, and nobody better not fucking say luck ever in their fucking lives saying I got lucky on this call. Well, I've been having my head deep burrowed down into the fucking system for 6 months, extracting all this information so I can share with you lovely people. That's the reality of it. Now listen, I don't want to hear no daft person coming out saying, oh, cryptocurrencies are down. Listen, of course they're fucking down. Of course. It would not make sense if they was going up at this point. Because, you know, XRP's not out there. We haven't got the framework around digital assets yet. We haven't got the true custodian services. We haven't got the actual legitimate institutional gateways yet. It's been designed the ecosystem. This now is a 14-month journey to Q4 2019 when shit is going to hit the fan properly. But by that time, we've had 14 months worth of XRP adoption with XRP, you know, moving into more financial institutions, worldwide legislation framework being designed that we can all take back to our nations and, you know, tweak here and there. You better get ready for the one world currency, people, because honest to God, it is coming and it is going to be XRP. It really, really, really is. It makes sense in every aspect. Listen, when all the central banking system, Dominos, collapses under our fucking feet, the middle class is going to get fucked. And it's the middle class who's the vast majority of the population. Therefore, it's the middle class that actually determines what we see as value. Do you think when the US dollar and its banking system, this debt-riddled fucking monetary system comes crashing down, we're going to trust central banks? Or are we going to trust a decentralised ledger that is biased to no nation, that cannot be pressured by any government or any institution, that serves as no purpose apart from a decentralised global unit of account? Of course, that's what's going to be trusted as the next monetary system. Of course, that's what the monetary system is going to be built upon. Of course, it's because of the interledger protocol why all payment messaging services can connect to each other via a bridge of XRP. Of course, it makes fucking sense. And I assure you, it will fucking happen. I will catch you guys later on.